one for the one and only DNVR. Two goes out to Zac, RK, and the bar. Three for Mr. B in that old trophy case. Number four still waiting for, well, bring on the chase. Out on the field at Mile High, Broncos win is our desire. Coupled with Breck, Brew, and a friend, bleed orange and blue to the bitter end. Come and join us, DNVR. We are DNVR.
We are DNVR. We are live from Studio A here on a very Monday.
Yes, it is. It is. And starting like a Monday as well.
Yeah, we're a little behind here, sending out tweets, doing things. We stayed up all night thinking of the most woke possible take you can have on a funny situation at the Oscars.
Yeah. And Ryan, I do have to get this out of the way right now. I like Allie. I will never say a bad thing about her, so you have no reason to slap me.
Keep her name out your mouth.
Out of my what mouth?
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking maybe like I would say like 100 retweets and I'll slap you on the show.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if I could do it actually.
The slap or the retweets?
Oh, we definitely get the retweets
right now?
I think we probably get the retweets in like 5 minutes.
I think so.
I remember like not to get all sentimental on you, but I remember one of the first times we ever did a post-game show. It was after a preseason game, and I just tweeted out like 100 likes and we'll do a post-game show. And it got 100 likes in like 3 minutes. And I was like, oh shit, we might be on to something.
And now we do post-game shows, and they slap.
Yes, they do. Every game, post-game shows, they'll probably be a little more fun this year.
A lot more fun, and maybe we'll even get George Paton down here after one.
Yeah, Tim Connolly just, casually strolls to the bar after the DNVR takeover at Ball Arena, walks up the stairs and just sits in the chair and goes on the show.
Too cool.
Yeah.
He is the dude.
George Paton, ball's in your court.
Yep, it is. You want to be the coolest GM in town? You got some work to do.
Yeah, technically, Tim Connolly's president of basketball operations. He's gone above.
Okay.
Is the ball in John Elway's?
John?
Does he still have his no, he doesn't have his title.
He doesn't have his title.
So there is no president of football operations.
He does still have an office.
Ah, that's nice. The best office?
The owner's office.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yep. Now, maybe he doesn't have it within the past month, but a month ago he did.
Okay. Speaking of owners, speaking of all that stuff, it is the NFL owners meetings down there in, where are we?
We're in Florida, Palm Beach.
Okay, Palm Beach. I bet you they have palm trees there.
They do. They do, yeah.
Also,
How'd you know?
I don't know. It just is in the name.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, a shout out to MSU Denver Online. If you want to learn about things like trees and geography, they probably can help you out over there. They can help you out with a lot of things. 750 total classes, 45 plus online and hybrid programs. Something for everyone over there. And if you're looking to work a full-time job, MSU Denver students work twice as many hours as students attending any other Colorado institution. So check out msudenver.edu/online today.
My boy, a little throwback pod this week, or at least for most of the week, because Mace is down in those owner meetings right now. And really quick, before we hop into that, hit us with a thumbs up if you're tuning in live. If you're tuning in live on Twitter, jump over to YouTube. We'd really appreciate that. Hit us with a thumbs up, subscribe, turn on alerts, because anytime something goes on, we are going live. You don't want to miss it, and we really appreciate that. Also, hit us with a 5-star review on iTunes. Trying to get to 700. We close?
I haven't checked in a couple days.
Okay.
I know we are close. We're in the 680 range.
I love it.
There's, at least a couple hundred of you watching right now. I bet you at least 20 of you haven't left us an iTunes review.
I bet.
So if all of you go do that right now, then we'll hit 700.
We will, and it's now it's called the NFL annual meeting, I think, annual league meeting. It used to be called the owners meeting. I don't know why they switched it or when they did. But speaking of the owners, Joe Ellis, kind of the owner of the Broncos right now. He's speaking right now, and our guy Mace just put out on Twitter something he said, and man, Joe Ellis can't wait to be done soon enough. He's made it very clear multiple times, including this right here, that he's going to be gone. He will not be a part of the Broncos. He said, someone is going to replace me. I made that clear with the bankers and the prospective bidders that have called me and talked to me and things like that. He's like, don't worry, I'm not hanging around.
Get the hell out of here. What worries me is he said something along the line. And I guess we can jump into our game here, and I'll start. We're going to play a little something or nothing. A lot of quotes have come out in the last 2 days from Joe Ellis, George Paton, and Nathaniel Hackett. And, you know, sometimes you have to sift through quotes to decide, is this something or is this nothing? So that's what we're going to play here. But I guess I'll start here because I want to talk about this one first. Joe Ellis said something today along the lines of, it's still possible that we have a new owner by opening day. And that sent me into a red flag spiral. Because you know what I had flashbacks to?
Naming rights?
Yes. It's still possible that we could have a new name on the stadium by opening day. And I was like, how many seasons? I know. It sent me to a dark place.
Yeah.
I was like, how many seasons did we hear that before it happened?
Yeah.
4?
Yeah.
5?
Yeah.
So I started like panicking this morning. I'm like, oh no, because all of a sudden it's going to be like, well, we're just going to get through this season and we'll revisit this in the off season. The off season goes quick in the NFL. And then like, so please, for the love of God, get this done before the season starts. I realize this is a little different. Like, naming rights on the stadium, you're selling something to them, right? You're trying to say, hey, this is how we provide value for you. This is the team, which is worth a hell of a lot of money, and everyone knows it's going to continue to appreciate. So people really, really want this, probably more than they really, really want the naming rights on a stadium that people just call Mile High no matter what you name it.
Yes, exactly. And no matter what fires happen, there's jokes being made about it, and they refer to it as Mile High. And Ryan, I'm going to say your take is nothing.
Okay, good.
Because it's hopeful, though. It's all hopeful. That was something I didn't think of. But you're right. Once it starts getting into, we should, I think, those things, I hope, then it does get into dicey territory. And now I'm sweating a little bit, too. That does make me a little nervous. It's, 78 degrees out. I didn't realize it was a warm day. I wore a little flannel. And now I'm sweating hearing that. And that's a little scary.
Yeah, I wonder if, like, during the season is on the table, or are they going to say, like, we don't want this to be a distraction for the team?
Right, yeah.
Because if that's the case, like, I'll be really annoyed.
Then it seems like they're milking it if it gets to that point.
Yep. Maybe Joe Ellis is like, get 10, 11 wins in my last year.
Right, yes, finally go out on top. He saw John do it. He saw Peyton do it.
Yeah, John should ask for like a formal role just for the year.
Right.
So he can say his last year was a success.
An inside consultant.
Yes,
instead of an outside consultant.
Inside consultant. Okay, so the quote, though, we hope to have an owner by opening day, something or nothing.
I'm gonna say nothing. Hopefully it's nothing.
I'm going something. That's something to me. I don't like it.
Man, I don't like it. But I think you may be onto something. Something else that Joe Ellis said, which did concern me the first time I heard it. He was talking about the fire. A couple hundred seats were affected because I guess who knew that plastic was made out of gas? I certainly didn't.
It's not made out of gas.
If you missed Three Ring Circus, I didn't know that. But a couple hundred seats damaged. 14 suites were affected.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. It's a lot of money, too. So 14 seats. And he said that those things might not be fixed by the time the season comes around. It's not what we were hearing on Thursday and Friday right after the fire happened.
Maybe Joe Ellis has PTSD about getting things done by a deadline.
So he's just pushing everything.
No, doesn't promise anything.
Right.
What do you mean it might be fixed by the season?
Because he said there was structural damage to like the part that holds the roof, or like part that like holds the area where the seats are.
Okay. Why is it not getting fixed this week?
Are you saying they have like 5 months to do it?
Yeah. I'm saying like it could probably be done by Friday.
You would think so, yeah, with all the manpower.
Right, the manpower, the money, the fact that it's the Denver Broncos.
And we know that the price of suites is what really is the sweet spot to make money.
Especially when you're good.
Yep, especially when you're good. So you would think you'd kind of move heaven and earth, right? To not be missing out on club seats and then suites.
Seats and suites. I don't get that at all.
Yeah.
So like what What's the other option? They're just gonna leave
melted seats there.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
I thought Kyle Clark had the best tweet of everything when Mike Kliss tweeted out like Broncos say the seats will be fixed by the season, and Kyle Clark was like, Kliss with the scoop that Broncos won't make you sit on the charred wreckage of the seat.
It's pretty good.
Like, I don't. This is gonna get fixed by the season. I think Joe Ellis is afraid of promising things.
Oh man, you really may be on to something there. So he said. So Joe Ellis said the big issue is steel risers supporting the seats buckled in the fire.
Is this like one of those 9/11 conspiracies?
If there's actually something going on?
Like, no, just like there's something about like can fire melt steel?
Oh,
like,
right.
Jet fuel involved.
Yeah, I mean, apparently the seats pretty much were jet fuel.
I just don't understand. I don't understand.
I don't
Is he saying
either.
like they might have to like go take out the whole section?
That's what I mean. Mike Kliss put it out there saying big issue. That seems like it may be a bigger issue. Like, are they going to have to take out all of club level or, a quarter of the club level? I don't know.
Someone who works in like construction
Right.
or like what else would it be, like contracting,
Right.
Structural engineering.
Yep.
Yes.
There we go.
Let us know here because
Yes. We can barely even think of the terms, let alone know what's going on.
even if they had to take out the entire section, I still feel like it should be done by week 1.
You would think, and what, millions of dollars right there.
Yes, right,
That
exactly.
you're losing. And
Right.
All right. Do you think that hurts the sale of the team at all in terms of price if you just don't have hundreds of seats and 14 suites?
Well, I think it's
did you just hurt your value? The Russell Wilson boost you got, did you just take that down with the fire?
if you're trying to sell your house and you're like, well, and the west wing of the house is burned down, then yeah, it hurts the value a little bit.
And we decided not to fix it.
Yeah, exactly. This is crazy to me.
Yeah,
This
it really
crazy.
is. It really is. I didn't think the two juiciest things we were going to be starting off with were things that came from Joe Ellis.
Right. Joe Ellis rarely brings the heat.
Yeah.
But he did there. By the way, did you see that video that went viral of someone
Joe doing something crazy?
yeah, Joe at the pool in Palm Beach? No.
Skinny dipping.
God. Someone was using a blowtorch to like refurbish seats in a stadium.
Okay.
And I was thinking like, oh, is this what happened? Because like, you know how the older seats they get like faded and they lose their color?
Yeah.
Like if you go to like, what is it? Arrowhead.
Okay.
Their seats are trash. Like they're so ugly because they've just been hit by the sun so much.
Yep.
And this video went viral of someone using like a blowtorch, or not necessarily, I guess more like a flamethrower than a blowtorch, to, if you heat up the seat, then it like gets its color back.
No way.
And I was thinking like,
that what they
Broncos?
were
Was this what
doing?
you guys were doing?
Well, it did start in the mid. I mean, I think the fire department said it started inside and moved outside. So I'm not saying they're wrong, but we all saw the video of
Right.
like a group of seats in the middle of a section
just
just on
two
fire.
seats.
Yeah.
And that's underneath that. Obviously, if you've been to the stadium and you do the thunder, it's steel under the seats.
Yes, it is.
So how would the fire? Well, here we go with fire and steel again. How would the fire have gone from inside through the steel and onto the seats to catch them on fire?
So we had Jose chime in and says, I think he's talking about steel. Says steel is flammable with a propane torch.
I think he's talking about how you fix the seats.
Oh, with a propane
Wait,
torch.
yeah.
It sounds flammable.
He was talking about, you were saying, like, saying it was a flamethrower. He's like, this is what it
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
A propane torch, aka flamethrower.
Yes, I mean, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, someone else said it was a dab torch, which
Oh, man.
very well could have been.
That'd even be dangerous.
I still have a lot of questions about the fire.
Me too.
I feel like we have more questions than answers.
Yes, yeah, we certainly do. We just hope that there's seats by the time. You know what they're going to do? They're going to change the press box into those suites and then put us in the suites where you can't see anything.
Yeah, with the buckled steel.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. If we lose these people, it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
They're not paying customers anyway.
All right, let's get back to our game of something or nothing here.
Okay, I think we're done with Joe Ellis.
Oh,
so
good.
thank you, Joe, for giving us that. Okay, we got to talk about this guy tomorrow. But we can talk about the other one. Melvin Gordon and Kareem Jackson. Melvin, I think we got to save till tomorrow because I think it's a deeper conversation, which may have you and I slapping each other over. But Kareem Jackson, they're still talking with his reps. I think this is like 10 days now that it's been known the Broncos and Kareem Jackson are talking. Is there something there? Or because it's been, almost 2 weeks of this talk, is it nothing?
I think it's definitely something. Kareem Jackson hasn't even been rumored to have talked with any other team as far as I know.
Yeah.
So I think he wants to be back. He loves playing alongside Justin Simmons. He obviously wants to catch the wave with Russell Wilson. I think this ends up coming down to like a 1-year, $1.5 million deal.
Oh, man. And Kareem just having to take it.
Yeah.
And that is a price tag the Broncos would not pass up. That's great. And we talk about, do you want to stunt the development of Baron Browning if you bring in Bobby Wagner? The Broncos said, we don't even need Bobby Wagner. We're going to stunt his development on the inside on our own right now. Do we want to stunt the development of Caden Stearns? Well, if you think Kareem Jackson's a better player this year with Russell Wilson on your team, you do.
And I don't think it's necessarily stunting the development of Caden Stearns. I think it's helping the development of Caden Stearns. It's delaying the payoff of the development.
Keeping him fresh. I see. You talked to PR this morning.
Yeah. Just got off the phone with them right before I came on here. They were telling me about buckled steel.
I don't think they were because you didn't know much about it.
Yeah, I definitely did. I think that, you delay his role as a starter, but learning behind Justin Simmons and Kareem Jackson is not a stunt of your development. I think it's merely just giving him more time to learn. He has a lot of Kareem Jackson in him when I watch him play. It's the flying to the ball. It's just like reckless with your body. And I think that's awesome. But there is a knowledge that has to back that up. Because when you fly around and you're, essentially only have one speed, which I think Kareem Jackson does, you really got to make sure you're using that speed to go to the right place. Because if not, then you're just out of position really fast.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think understanding the game, understanding what offenses are, showing you, knowing how to read your keys based off of what teams are trying to do, watching film, all that stuff, that can only help. That can only help Caden Stearns. So I'm not worried about him getting on the field this year.
And with Caden Stearns, he was one of the most efficient players in the NFL last year. So what you would do is, just like Antonio Acosta says, split time with Caden Stearns and Kareem Jackson. Maybe not splitting time between those two, but what you're doing, the Broncos have talked about playing a lot of dime. Doesn't seem like you're going to sign Bryce Callahan now. Maybe you sign Chris Harris Jr. right before the season starts. But what you do is, instead of signing one of those corners, just have Caden Stearns play that role, and then he's naturally getting more playing time.
Yeah, it's fair. I also never got properly roasted on this show for the Broncos having a reunion.
Ah, yes, they did. Billy Turner.
Also, was that you with the caption Bronco Billy?
Yes.
I love that.
Thank you. I thought I'd make you proud.
That turned around the whole experience.
Oh, okay. So if it does it have to be two words?
I don't know. Something about Bronco Billy. Does someone already take that?
I don't think so.
Is that what people call Bill Bolin?
Bill Romanowski. Do we call him Bronco Bill?
I don't know. Bronco Billy is great. I have an amendment.
My day's made.
I have that.
Made you proud.
I have an amendment to my no reunions thing.
Okay.
Which I never really said no reunions. I just said I don't like them.
Right. But now you like this one.
No one was really clamoring for this one, so it doesn't count.
Ah, it's not a big name.
Right. It wasn't like, we got to get Billy Turner. We got to get Billy. Like, everyone wanted the other guys.
Do you think Jano is a big name?
Nah, within the fan base, yes.
So does that fit in this or no?
Yes, it does.
Okay. It's too big of a name.
Too many people want it.
Well, then good. They're not going to get him back, so I think you're good. So Von Miller's a no.
Chris Harris Jr. is a no.
Chris Harris Jr. is a no. And then Kareem Jackson.
Kareem Jackson doesn't count because he never left.
You're right. Very good point.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, you're building a case pretty good for yourself.
Yep. But Billy Turner, everyone was asking about all the other guys. No one was saying, like, we got to go get Billy Turner.
Yeah.
And then they were just like, hey, look, here's Billy Turner. Do you like this? And everyone was like, yeah.
Yep.
This is solid.
And that's how everyone feels is, yeah, we like it. It's fine. Is he going to be a starter? Probably, but not guaranteed. You know who loves him?
Matt McChesney?
He would probably say it like this. Oh, I love the guy. Lot of
Nathaniel
energy.
Hackett.
Yes, exactly. Nathaniel Hackett loves him, so no surprise that he's coming here.
That would be an odd couple, those two. Billy Turner has like the most turned down
Yes.
vibes I've ever seen.
Yes.
Like everything is like low key. He kind of like when he's not on the field has like sloth energy.
He does. Yes, he does. He does. Wasn't he? Max Garcia was like always the first one in to lunch after practice. Billy Turner, I think, was like one of the last.
Just like kind of moves in slow motion.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a big fan of the media either.
No, not a fan. And we haven't got a media invitation to speak with him, so maybe he's not doing a press
He's like, I'm
conference.
out on that.
Yeah.
He's like, they called me Billy Turnstile, and
Yeah,
I was
right.
done.
And in fact, I'll take $1 million less to not talk to the media.
It's a good deal for
Yeah,
him.
it really. Well, a bad deal for him.
I don't
good
know
deal for the team.
if you're just like if you want to do the I'm just here so I don't get fined thing. You're like, hey, take the fines part out.
Right.
That way you don't have to fine me $1 million.
I'm just here so I don't talk.
Yeah, exactly. I do like that one though, and I don't think it's a done deal that he starts.
Yeah, and initially when it came out, $5 million contract, I thought it is a done deal he starts, but that's with incentives to get up there. So yes, I do think it's competition, but I also think he is the front runner.
He is, but remember, he wasn't exclusively playing right tackle in Green Bay. He played a lot of guard as well.
And that's something why Nathaniel Hackett loves him.
Love this
All
guy.
the versatility. And if you need versatility, Ryan, check out our friends over at Light Shade Dispensary, where whether you're a casual consumer or a connoisseur, you can be as versatile as you want over at Light Shade Dispensary. And if you use code DNVR, you get 25% off your entire purchase of non-sale items every single time you go to their website or you go to one of their stores. And right now they've got Escape Artist, which is the highest award topical brand in Colorado that prioritizes quality and consistency. They have ratios available 1-to-1 and high ratio CBD 20-to-1. They've got it all. So check them out and use that code DNVR for 25% off.
Also, make sure you come down, hang out at the DNVR bar, or join us on one of our DNVR takeovers. Ooh. Guys, this was one of the most epic nights like ever on
I'm
Saturday.
so bummed. I've just been caught up in free agency. I totally spaced it was this weekend.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people feel like you.
Yeah.
There is an Avs bus coming up soon. We have, I think, 20 tickets left. So get on it quickly. Same deal, though. You come down to the DNVR bar, you hang out, you hop on the bus. We get the vibes absolutely cracking on the bus. Breck brews for everyone.
Yep.
As you get on, you got like 10 minutes to drink them before we get to the stadium. Get to the stadium, and then this is my favorite part. It's the one thing that we weren't able to do with Broncos games. I kind of hope we can figure out a way to do it. Maybe if we offer to take the charred seats, they'll let us have them.
Now we're thinking.
But everyone sits in the same section at the game. So you got your tickets through us. It's all one fixed cost. Everyone gets to sit together, hang out, go crazy, start chants in the stadium. It almost reminds me of like a student section in college, you know? And then after the game, you hop on the bus, celebrate the win, come back to the bar, have some fun. It's like a full day / night experience. That's absolutely awesome. So go to DNVRlocker.com if you want to come to the Avs one coming up soon. We'll obviously be doing similar stuff for the Broncos game. Maybe the London game is how we get like a block of seats. That's for us.
Oh, yes. And that would be extra cool because it'd be an away game for the Broncos, and yet Broncos will still be taking over. Yes,
of course. And I mentioned Breck brews on the bus, but you got to try those. You got to have some Breck brews.
I mean, on the Avs bus, do you go with the Avalanche Amber?
I think it's probably a yes.
Yeah.
But I think it's in like a week or two. It's supposed to be really nice out.
Yes.
Then it's just Strawberry Sky season. And Strawberry Sky, you got some Avs colors in the branding. So
yes, you do.
It works out. But check out Breck Brew. Come on down here. You can get a 22-ounce beer just like Tim Connolly did when you're a member at the bar. You can also get Good Company hard seltzers, all that good stuff. So come hang out at the DNVR bar, get yourself some Breck brews.
We weren't done with Joe Ellis. I remembered one more. You sparked me to it.
Oh, yes.
Playing in London, the Jacksonville Jaguars. What we know right now is the Broncos will not be a home team because they've already announced all the home teams for those occasions. And the only slot the Broncos could fill as an away team, because we know their opponents and home and away, is Jacksonville in London.
Perfect.
Joe Ellis.
Tottenham?
Essentially, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Joe Ellis is pretty much begging for it. like he did a couple years ago, and it
Yep.
got them
and
the
he
game.
Won,
And then it was canceled due to COVID.
Thank God it was canceled, though.
Why so?
Because if they did it during COVID with no fans,
right,
it would have been the lamest thing
right,
ever.
Exactly. And then they would have been pushed off 8
Yes.
years from having another one. Right.
Yes. Yeah, this is definitely something. I feel like Joe Ellis is taking it to the next step right now, right? Public pressure.
Right. Yeah.
He brings it out, shows Broncos fans, kind of dangles the carrot, gets everyone fired up. We all start talking about it. And if the league office is listening to this show, as I know they often do, we will throw the biggest party that a NFL team has ever thrown in London.
Oh, did you hear that, Roger?
Yeah, I know.
Is he
That
welcome?
gets you fired up, Roger. You can come. We'll let you even pull out like one of the tickets for the drawings.
Okay. And everyone boos him.
Yeah, exactly.
Except for the one person that wins.
Yes, exactly.
That'd be a good bit for
It
Roger.
would be hilarious. Great for your brand. Great for our brand.
That party would be so cool.
I dream about this like once a week.
Yeah.
Just like what it would look like.
Yep.
Because this is one of those things where it's like, okay, there's already a bunch of people who listen to the show in the UK, so they're all coming.
Yep.
And then obviously Broncos fans who want to go see London are all going as well.
Never been, would love to.
Yeah, I mean, me either. So I'm thinking we would have thousands.
Oh man, I think so too.
Yeah, we got to find the right bar to partner with.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of bars there.
We'll do live pods from the bar all week.
Yep.
Then we'll have like one really big blowout right before the game.
Yeah. Oh man, that sounds amazing.
It sounds so good.
Something else that's amazing. So you're buying that? That's something.
I think it is something
agree.
because I don't think
agree.
Joe Ellis would just say it if he thinks he's going to look stupid in a week.
Right. Yep. That's a good point. And this is exactly what he did in 2020 or 2019, whatever it was leading up to that season. And it worked.
Yep, it sure did.
And it could work again.
And Jags Broncos, that's like that's one of the better draws they've had there.
Way better playing Jacksonville this year than any year in the past.
Right, for sure.
Unfortunately, actually, for the Broncos.
What?
In terms of like they'll be.
Right. You're not getting a free dub against the Jags.
Man, the way the AFC is, I don't feel good about my 10,000 plus 10,000 Super Bowl bet on the Jags.
I think we had a pizza bet on that.
Oh,
we
did. It was.
If they have a top 10 pick, I win. If they make the playoffs, you win. Anything in between is a push.
Your odds are looking a lot better now.
We're always looking better.
Your buyout odds are looking better. Something that Nathaniel Hackett thinks looks good is Alex Singleton's hair. He says his flowing locks are really good. You buying that?
Yes, I'm buying that.
Is it something? Is that going to get him on the playing field?
Nathaniel Hackett is like actually naturally funny.
He is. Yeah.
Like he has a joke for everything. Like
Yeah.
What did he say today? Oh, he had a hilarious one today, I thought, when he was like, yeah, like Joe Ellis tells me whenever there's something important, like if the stadium's on fire.
Yes,
like that's hilarious.
yes. Such a good little quick thought.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Yeah. And he, Nathaniel Hackett was, I want to say he kept it cool, but he was really bothered by the venue that they were doing the press conferences in today. And the reason for that is it was like in it looked like
A hallway?
it looked like Vatican.
Oh, yes.
Let's say.
Yes.
And so really loud, and they had just a ton of different coaches lined up next to each other, and they're all talking, and there's microphones blasting it all out. And so he could barely hear himself think, is what I got from this. And it was a 35-minute press conference, and so he just kept getting flustered by it, and he said, at one point, he said, should I just? Can you guys hear me? No. Should we make this a game where I just scream louder than every coach?
Oh, God.
And then he didn't do that. But he's really cool and calm, I should say.
He should have just said, like, can we just go outside? Like, you guys down
Right.
to just go out on the porch?
Yep. In fact, I saw a reporter that was there suggest that for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so it's like a big like echoey hall.
Right. Yeah.
And why were they using speakers?
I don't know.
There's that many media there?
I guess.
How did we mess this up so bad?
I don't know. This is the thing that we always forget about.
I know. I guess it's because like neither of us have ever gone, so
No,
we don't
yeah.
have like a review of it.
Yeah, and it seems like it's cool. I mean, it's in a really nice hotel. Right. I mean, they interviewed George Paton and Nathaniel Hackett yesterday on the beach.
Seems like
pretty
there's a lot
much.
of downtime too. Like could have
Lot.
brought my golf clubs.
Yeah. Take a dip in the ocean.
I think other media are trying to keep this a secret.
I think that's a good point.
Because like everyone, like when I first got in the business, everyone's like, you gotta go to the combine, you gotta go to the Senior Bowl, you gotta go to the Super Bowl too.
Right.
No one has ever once said to me, you should go to the league meetings.
Do you think you have to be over a certain age because it's always in like a retirement community
true.
sort of thing?
They're like, well, you don't want those young whippersnappers here hanging out with the coaches until 4
Yeah,
a.m.
He's got to be up early. We got to get Nathaniel up early the next day.
They're like, well, the media people are like, as long as we keep it like over 50,
right?
Then everyone will go to sleep nice and early.
Right, exactly. I mean, they were up. Nathaniel Hackett started his press conference at 7:45.
That's tough for me. That would be 5:45 Denver time.
It was tough for me this morning.
Yeah. Hats off to you. I was fast asleep. All right, let's keep it rolling. Something or nothing.
Okay, Quinn Meinertz. Nathaniel Hackett said he's going to be a really good right guard for us. Is that him anointing him the starter?
Yep.
Is that something?
Yep. It's over.
Yep, I think so too.
Also, I like he went out of his way to say right guard.
Yep.
Not that he would have been flipped around.
I think it means more though.
Yes, exactly. He's going to be a really great right guard for us. That is saying he's our right guard in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Instead of saying he's going to be a really good guard for us.
Yep.
That could mean anything.
Yep. Something, now moving on to the next one because I agree with you, it's something. Something that's been brought up multiple times in the past 24 hours, I think by a combination of George Paton and Nathaniel Hackett, is talking about Randy Gregory in a very good way, obviously, but saying they're very excited to see him in a 2-point stance, and they just keep pointing to that. Is there something that could be unlocked with Randy Gregory being in a 2-point stance?
No, also 2-point stance is just a funny way of saying standing up.
Yes, yeah. It really is. Those football guys do try to out-football guy like the media.
If I ever officiate a football player's weddings, instead of saying "please rise for the bride," I'm just 2-point stance for the bride.
And then what do you do when they sit down? 4-point stance, and you just have people like on all fours.
Well, if you count each cheek as a point,
there you go. There you go. And then say that, and then you'll see all the what the football players do. I think normal people would sit down, and the football players may be doing something weird.
Yep, 4-point stance is the most intimidating of all stances.
And also like the least efficient.
Yeah,
seemingly.
Probably. But it just looks like you're really rearing to go.
It's like very animalistic.
That's really funny though. Like, why don't they just say like we're excited to see him as a stand-up edge? They're
right,
like,
exactly.
Really excited to see him as a 2-point stance.
But you don't think it's something where it unlocks the next level of his game?
This seems like something that coaches are talking themselves into.
Yeah.
They're like, because obviously we haven't seen the sack production from him.
Right.
So as you're going through, like, and you make the signing and you love him, you're like, what if we had him stand up?
Right.
10
more sacks?
Right. Like, I think he could maybe actually get to the quarterback.
Right.
As if, like, no one's ever thought of that.
Right.
So, no, that's nothing.
Okay.
It is funny, though.
It is funny. Now, tell me who this something is. Nathaniel Hackett's going to add an analytics guy to his staff, and he has someone in mind.
Is it Mace?
It could be, because what he said was he likes to do things. He's like, you guys know me. I like to do things untraditionally. And so kind of hinting that this person was going to be an untraditional analytics guy, and I didn't even think about Mace being, that'd be untraditional.
That would be untraditional.
Going the media route. Like, what does he mean by
untraditional analytics guy?
Is he like not going to be a numbers guy? That would be pretty untraditional.
Look, I'm hiring Ryan Koenigsberg. He is one of the best vibes analysts I've ever seen.
Right, there you go. You just put vibes in front of it.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, look, vibes analytics are an untapped part of this business. And I'm just going to page up to the booth and be like, what does the vibe say?
Your vibe would probably match his vibe, because he said that he wants to be aggressive. He wants to go for it all the time, and that he was reined in a little bit. He understands he needs to not go for it every time, but man, it seems like he's going to be the guy, the horse that's just trying to go every single time, and then someone's going to have to give him the tug back occasionally.
You got to find yourself somewhere between John Fox and Brandon Staley.
Right.
You know, you want to be a little bit more on the Staley side.
Yep, I agree.
Untraditional analytics. I assume this is going to mean they're not coming from the world of football.
I think you're probably right. Yeah.
So he's like, look, I got this guy from Brown University who was a maths professor, was a analytics professor there. And
big football guy, too.
He's
big
never
fan.
watched a football game in his life.
Exactly, yeah.
He's like, I don't want the third-party thoughts coming from the football world. I just want the numbers.
Because I know the football stuff is what he would say.
Yes.
Ah, man, that'd be something. That'd be very untraditional.
It would. I'm excited to see what it is. Whatever it is, I'm going to like it.
And then the first fourth down that he goes for and fails, oh, man, he's going to get roasted.
Fired.
Yeah, exactly. Nathaniel Hackett also said, you have to have a quarterback to have a chance. Is that something or nothing?
I mean, it's facts.
It's everything. Yeah.
It's nothing to me because it's an obvious quote.
Yep.
But
it's.
I cannot believe how blessed Nathaniel Hackett is.
Oh my god, and he knows it too. He knows it too.
I just wonder if that was. I want to know when they're sitting at Los Dos Portrillos, is George Paton saying
right.
Look, dude, we're gonna get Russell Wilson.
Right.
It's gonna be so sick.
Yep.
Or is he saying well, we might get a quarterback, but what's your plan if we don't?
Right. He's like, I don't want to talk about that plan. He was asked twice today about Nathaniel was about the quarterbacks coming in this draft, and he was like, I really enjoyed my conversations with them. They all have good things about him, but never once was he like, oh, this is a great quarterback class. He knew what he was going into, and then also, Ryan, this scariest thing I heard today.
Uh-oh.
It's good because we don't have to worry about it for a long time. When talking about a young quarterback, he said when to develop a quarterback, a guy that you draft, you got to have him sit and you got to have him learn for a long time. Like a Jordan Love. Exactly. And that just got me thinking, well, the Broncos don't have their Aaron. If they didn't get Russell Wilson, they didn't have their Aaron Rodgers where it's okay to do that. It would have been a Mitchell Trubisky and picking someone at 9, pairing those together, and boy, if you're gonna go rookie quarterback, just go rookie quarterback. Have them be the starter. Have them play, and it was gonna be the opposite of that. So if we're ever talking about Nathaniel Hackett developing a quarterback, maybe this is something I'll remember. I probably won't because it's gonna be in a decade from now. But that scared me.
God, I have PTSD just thinking back to what that was like. Mm-hmm. Having to talk yourself into that sort of stuff.
Yep.
And the worst part about it is I truly think that with quarterbacks, it's an if you know thing pretty quickly.
Yep.
And so as soon as they're oh, so-and-so is going to start the season for us, it's oh, shit.
Right, exactly.
Oh, no, not again.
Yep.
Would you make this trade in perpetuity forever? 5 to 7 years of darkness, then 4 to 8 years of success with an exciting veteran future Hall of Famer?
Yes. Yeah, because when you take a step back, half the decade you're extremely relevant.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. So John Elway played until 1998, right?
Yep.
So that's 6 years of my life. Then Peyton was here for 4. That's 10.
Yep.
So right now, 1/3 of my life, the Denver Broncos have had a Hall of Fame quarterback.
So it's a better trade-off.
Right, and that number's only going to grow every year for the next, let's just say, 8 years.
Yep.
So by the end of this, it'll probably be half of my life the Broncos have had a Hall of Fame quarterback. You definitely just continue making that trade forever.
Yes, and you have it good.
Right.
Because
exactly.
The draft today was awarded, the 2024 draft, I think, was awarded to Detroit. And everyone's like, oh, man, I feel so good for Detroit. They finally deserve something good. And I'm like, oh, man, if we're talking about the Broncos like this in 10 years, Denver deserves the draft because they've had nothing good for, the past 2 decades, it's going to be that's going to be tough.
Yeah. If the draft is the best thing you guys got going for you, the draft and Hard Knocks.
Right, exactly.
How do you feel about Hard Knocks? Where are you at?
I mean, they got a great coach for it, but they have nothing else. Nothing.
I mean, Jared Goff was kind of funny because he was dumb when he was when he was on with the Rams. He didn't know about what was it, the sun rising?
Right. And which direction?
Yeah.
And he lived in L.A.
Yeah.
It's very clear it doesn't rise over the ocean there. I think yes. No, I'm sure.
I don't know. So I look. Dan Campbell will have 10 good moments. Yep. They'll all make it to Twitter.
Yep.
I don't need to get HBO to watch it.
Yeah, I haven't watched a full season of Hard Knocks ever.
I got
into the Raiders.
It was
one,
my favorite show up until that Raiders one.
Yep. And that's when I started watching, and everyone then said, "Oh, this is the worst one." I'm like, okay, I'm tapping out midway through.
It was really the worst one, and I haven't seen any buzz about it ever since.
No, and the hope is that the Broncos won't be on Hard Knocks.
We'll probably there's probably a better chance of the Broncos never being on it in the history of the show.
Yeah, seriously, unless the new owner is like a showbiz guy or gal.
There is that one guy who's in media.
Yep, exactly. And he's the one making a strong push.
They could do the in-season show All or Nothing, though. That is still on the table.
Okay.
Man, that got no buzz.
Nope.
Last year, 0.
And
they had some juice going on, too, in Indy.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, it really is.
Because, NFL Twitter is not, hard to, crack into.
No. Especially when you got
The Bachelor cracks into
right?
NFL Twitter.
Yes, it does. We approaching a season? Don't they start one in April, typically?
I have no idea. I actually have fallen off the Bachelor wagon.
Yeah. What'd you fall off first? Hard Knocks or Bachelor? They
Hard
coincide at the
Knocks.
same time?
Hard Knocks.
Wow, that tells you everything you need to know.
By the way, funny story. We were in Chicago, and one of our guys out there suggested this great pizza place. So we're really excited. We go now. We pull up. We walk into the restaurant. And the I don't even know what it is at first, but the sound of the TVs is unreasonably loud. It is so loud. And I'm like, what is going on here? And the first TV I look at is sports, so I don't even think anything.
Yeah.
But then as we're walking to our seat, I realize every single other TV is on the Bachelor
Wow.
reveal show, the what do they call it? The tell-all show.
Yep.
And it is so freaking loud. And it's just all at least 90% women in the restaurant,
Oh.
reacting to everything.
Wow.
And probably could have handled everything except for how loud the TVs were. We were we can't do this. So we walked out.
And they kind of tricked you at first thinking it was going to be sports with that
Which
first
is
TV.
the one TV I looked at. I was like, oh, the game's on. It's crazy.
Maybe that'll be the DNVR bar someday.
Probably not.
Bachelor watch? No,
Probably
probably
not.
not. Okay, yep, no. Okay, 2 more. Albert O is going to be more of a move tight end, in the words of Nathaniel Hackett, in terms of he's going to be a receiver.
Yeah. Something or nothing. Something.
Yeah.
Something. I don't know what the Broncos are going to do with all these weapons.
Yeah.
Especially if KJ Hamler's healthy, and I'll touch wood on his behalf. I hope it happens. But if he is, I just don't. How are they going to pick, 3 to 4 of these guys to be out there? Which, it's a great problem to have. I'm just so it'll be interesting to chart the formations that they come out in.
Yeah.
Because coming out in too tight, you did sign Eric Tomlinson. That's his name, right?
Yep.
And you're gonna want to use him.
Yep.
But that means if you have 2 tight ends on the field, in most cases, this is gonna mean that you can only have Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick out there, or then you're putting Jerry Jeudy on the bench.
Yep.
So obviously you can do that throughout the course of a game, but how much are you really going to do it?
Yeah, and that's why I think the Broncos are just going to have to tip their hand to what they're doing. And if they want a blocking tight end in the game, it's going to be Tomlinson.
And not Alberto.
And it's going to be a run, and it's not going to be Alberto. If Alberto's there, he's probably going to be lining up in the tight end position most of the time. But it's not that it's not going to be a run, but probably going to be a pass, especially if you just want to have the best pieces on. Now, you'll occasionally run a trick, and then you'll throw it to Tomlinson, and he'll be wide open because they're expecting a run. But you do tip your hand a little more in this, but I'm okay with it because you're saying – you guys probably know this is a pass, but Alberto's 4'5", and he's 6'5". Good luck stopping him.
Yeah, wait, he's what?
6'5".
What did you say before that? 4'5"?
4'5", 40. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
4'5".
4'5". Yes, in my head it made sense.
It's he's what? He's 4'5"?
I'm talking about myself.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy. Obviously, if you're running the ball, it makes sense, but how much you're basically tipping your cap when you put Tomlinson out there most of the time.
Right, exactly. And then the last one, Hackett said Bradley Chubb could be a dominant guy in the pass rush.
And
so you just spot on with that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could do a lot of things.
And that may be where the something is just
they talk about 2-point stance at all.
Not for Chubb. No,
Okay.
no, that's just unlocking Randy Gregory with that 2-point stance.
All right. Yeah. Bradley Chubb definitely could. He was a number 5 overall pick.
And I think probably the something there is that Hackett's not talking about it being a sure thing. Whereas Randy Gregory, he's talking about, him being a sure thing, dominant pass rusher. Bradley Chubb, he's saying he needs to stay healthy. And so I kind of like that they're being realistic about it.
How crazy is it to think that when Vic Fangio got here, he just instantly sang the praises of Bradley Chubb to the high heavens.
Yeah.
And had nothing to say about Von Miller.
Nothing.
And as I look back on the Von Miller, Vic Fangio era, and then I contrast it with what Von Miller did in Los Angeles, I legitimately think it's fair to say that Vic Fangio wasted years of Von Miller's career.
That's certainly how Von feels, without a doubt.
I mean, obviously winning, having a decent offense on the other side, that makes a big difference too. Being on a good team, being next to Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd, all that stuff plays a role. But when you just contrast the numbers that Von put up with the way that Vic Fangio treated him, which was always so weird from the start, and we kind of played it off early on as he's trying to motivate him,
right?
And then it just went on forever, where Vic Fangio just never said nice things about Von.
Never.
I look back and just think did he not see the value in Von Miller and somehow just blew it there?
Yeah, and like you said, he saw the value in Bradley Chubb and thought Von was going to be Bradley's Robin, not the other way around.
And it failed miserably.
It did. It failed all the way around. You had a 12-sack season from Bradley Chubb, and that was it from both of those guys. That was it.
That was bad.
In 3 years.
Sorry to bring up old stuff.
Yeah. I got good news for you, though.
Okay.
You and I both had a great weekend over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Very good. Hopefully continue that this weekend. We got the Final Four. And then 1 week from today, we got the championship. And if you want $200 in your account, bet $5 on one of the 3 remaining games. All you have to do is pick a team to win. And if that team wins a game, boom, $200 in your account and free money. Free money to get your account going. No better way to do that than our friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Also, get in on the same game parlays. Since I was parlaying a lot of games in the past, can't really do that this coming weekend with the college ball. So, and I'm just going to be getting in on the same game parlays over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up to get this $5 to $200 in free bets offer. That is $5 to win $200 by using the code DNVR over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Colorado only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. And Ryan, I got to get our DraftKings pick of the week right now because I am looking at these games this weekend, and I don't love any of the games. What I do love is the odds on one of the teams to win it all. I have Duke in my bracket to win it all. Their odds are too good right now. Or too bad.
Yeah.
Plus 160? Nah, I think it's even dipped to plus 155. I can't be doing that. I can't be dabbling in that. So I'm going the complete opposite. I'm going the worst odds. North Carolina plus 500. Love is playing like the best basketball of anyone in the tournament right now. North Carolina is hot, and the last time they played Duke, they handled them.
Yeah, okay, so ours are synced up here. I'm fully admitting I'm picking with my heart here. But I want to take North Carolina to beat Duke. Because I love when things don't go according to plan. It already happened once with them, right? It was Coach K's last game, and ESPN did 47 specials about it.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, that's what's going to happen this week.
Yeah.
Is they're going to say, oh my gosh, it's all setting up for Coach K to avenge his loss against North Carolina in the Final Four, first ever meeting in the tournament between these two teams. And then he's going to go on to the finals and win the national championship in his last ever game. And I have to admit, I'm terrified that, the powers that be really want that to happen. But North Carolina, I have no idea what happened to them this season. They're so good. They have everything that you need, right? They have the big center in the middle who's a rim protector and he can finish and he's a matchup nightmare. Then they have the stretch 4 in Manic who's just making everything on the outside.
Yeah.
They have the quick little guard in Davis. They have the awesome, scoring guard in Love. How did they end up being an 8 seed? I don't watch ACC basketball during the season, so
I don't
have
either.
no idea.
I don't either. But I think that's why we're getting great value here, is because they're an 8 seed.
Right. And they're clearly better than that. I mean, so much better than that. So I'm riding with them because I just think that everyone's going to think it's going to go a certain way, and then they're going to go spoil it again, and that's amazing.
What I took from that was you don't like that John Elway went out on top with the storybook ending. That you don't like that Peyton Manning went out on top with the storybook ending.
If I was in any other city, I would have been rooting for them to lose.
So you are definitely rooting for Tom Brady to not get the storybook ending.
Yes. Also, it seems like the Dolphins stuff was just hogwash, as Mace would say.
Yeah, yep. That's what it seems like, and that's certainly what they're saying today.
It seemed wouldn't make any sense to me.
Man, that'd be something.
Makes sense for Tom.
It does, yeah.
I hope that doesn't happen. No more AFC. Just
Yeah. Oh man,
everyone go to the NFC.
He's got to be smart about this, right? And realize
just waltz through the NFC.
I think he's smart enough.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why he came back. He's like, what am I doing? I'm going to the NFC Championship game if I just stay.
And then I'm playing Aaron Rodgers, so I'm guaranteed to win there. So I'm pretty much guaranteed to be in the Super Bowl. I have a 50-50 shot of winning another Super Bowl.
Yeah, like his competition is like Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, he's feeling pretty good. And then also when he came back, he got to bring all his guys back. All the guys re-signed.
Yep, for sure.
Yep.
All right, so picks of the week are off the table. Do we have any super chats we need to hit? We got one super chat from Stephen Sholey, who says, seeing beat writers from other teams shout you guys out is so dope. No offense to the guys in Utah, but I wish the Jazz had something like DNVR. Who shouted us out?
I don't know.
Oh.
Let us know.
All right.
What would it be? TH in Utah?
Utah?
TH?
Why would it be that?
Would it be
I
UTAH?
think it would be. I don't like giving away.
I know you don't. I
don't like giving away.
It wouldn't be a state. It would be a city.
Right.
We've never gone somewhere with 2 names or 2 words. I'm curious what you would do with that. Some dots.
3 words.
Oh, you're right. 3 words. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. SLC.
Well, that's already taken. And it's only 3 letters.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate the super chat. Yeah.
All right. Let's jump into the comments from the listeners.
Let's do it. First one coming in from Melbourne Broncos says, my boys, totally non-NFL related. Big moment down under this past Friday when Lance Buddy Franklin became only the 6th and possibly last Aussie player to kick 1,000 career goals. The scenes were unbelievable. 20,000 fans charged onto the field, taking over 30 minutes to clear the arena before play could continue. YouTube Buddy 1,000 for a look. It was one of the greatest moments in our sport. Cheers and let's ride. Could you imagine, like, when Peyton throws number 509, the whole stadium charged, like the whole first level charged the field?
It's a huge flaw in professional sports in America that there's no field storming.
During the game?
Just ever.
So you'd be okay with during the game field storming?
Well, everyone knows that I'm team storm whenever you want.
Oh, I didn't know you meant it that far.
I hate storm gatekeeping.
Okay.
So I always said, like, I wouldn't even care if the students stormed the field after a loss. Just go have fun.
Wow.
I do not care. So yeah, I'm for it. If it's fun, do it. That's my entire philosophy.
During a game.
Sure.
Okay. Wow, that's extreme. Yeah, I'm so for the field storming.
Yeah, as everyone's like, well, they weren't even ranked, or like they were ranked number 24, and
Right.
Vegas had it as a 1. I'm like, I don't care. They're college kids having fun.
So that's something you actually like about CSU this year. Then they stormed the court a couple times.
Yes, and I was for it every time.
Look at that. Look at that. Rams and Buffs unite.
But I really want to know more about this.
Yeah.
This Buddy 1000.
Hashtag Buddy 1000
It sounds amazing. I feel like I'm on the wrong page here.
for Buddy 1000.
I didn't see that.
Oh,
comment.
okay.
I don't see that comment.
Well, I'll pick up the next one from the
right.
Danimal. Says, guys, I hate to do this, but I have to fact check your Mile High Fire theory. It's been deemed false. There's no way Shermer's playbook could have caused that fire because there was not an ounce of heat anywhere in that book. Realistically, if someone tried to light his playbook on fire, it would have ended underwhelmingly small puff of smoke, no sparks, and would leave behind nothing but the smell of a sad fart, just like his offense. Wow. My theory? Either Josh McDaniels' era spy cam finally short-circuited, or the stadium seats were rehearsing for later this season when Chiefs fans implode after realizing they're back to being number 2.
Wow. That's if you do think like you can't like light a wet binder on fire.
Right, yeah.
And that's what that was.
Unless the binder's made of plastic,
Will you send me the
which
link
is made of gas.
what you're reading this is off of? Because I just went through all the ones on the last
Am I reading an old one?
You might be.
Wow. Maybe you're not caught up here.
I'm on the right page.
No, wow, I'm on the right one. Three Ring Circus?
But mine doesn't show up.
You got a picture of Romy at the top?
No.
Oh, well then you're on the wrong one.
That's on the top of my page.
Oh, yeah, you're on the wrong one. That's really weird.
Send me the link.
I just did.
Okay,
I just
cool.
texted it to you. And when you see is that the right one?
Well, this is definitely the right one, but that wasn't on the page
That's
that I was
really
searching.
weird.
Yeah.
That's really weird. I'll have to check on that. Chilango Bronco says, "Hey guys, so excited to see Steve Atwater and Bradley Chubb visit my favorite soccer team in Mexico City. It was amazing to see Chubb wearing a Pumas jersey. P.S." And then he leaves a note from Ace in Spanish, French, and then it says much love.
No, it's Spanish.
It's Spanish,
Not French.
Oh,
What's
it's
this
not
point?
French. Okay,
Que sera, sera.
Que sera, sera. Oh,
Means
yes, in
what
French.
will be, I
They
believe.
said it was French. Right. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so why didn't I see anything about this?
Bradley Chubb.
Yeah, I heard about it
Steve
from
Atwater.
people, but did the Broncos do a poor job of promoting this? Because I didn't see it anywhere.
There wasn't much to see.
Okay.
I mean, they went to Mexico City to promote the Broncos there.
Okay.
And we know that Mexico's their place.
Yep.
And so they're just going it to promote it, to get more fans, I guess. Because there's 9 different teams in Mexico that like have it as their country.
There was 3 people there, right?
There was Bradley Chubb, Steve Atwater,
Sidney
and
Jones? Someone like that?
probably, and then there was a PR person,
Okay.
and maybe business side person.
I was just thinking, like, do you think those people hung out?
Oh, all of them grab
Or
beers.
did Bradley
and
Chubb just be like, hey, let me
Right.
know when I got to be somewhere. I'll see you guys later.
It's a really good question. Yeah. Does it feel like a school bus trip where they're all stuck together?
Yeah, I mean, I can only compare it to, like, us. Like, if we travel somewhere, we go and we hang out.
That's
you know,
true.
like,
That's true.
we don't
That's
all,
true.
like, go our separate ways. But I have such a hard time imagining Bradley Chubb, like, sitting down to dinner with them.
Yeah, we are like very similar and
Right,
friends
right,
too.
exactly.
With that, instead of just like it's not like we're plucked from
Similar
different
tax
parts of
brackets.
right. Yeah, exactly. You guys want to go to McDonald's? Steve's like, no, we're going to the steakhouse.
Yeah, like, but I kind of even have a hard time like seeing Steve Atwater and Bradley Chubb having like a whole dinner together.
Right. I do for days on end because it was like a long weekend at least. So, yeah.
Well, that's super dope.
Yeah,
I
and
just wish I would have seen more.
And it's really cool for our Mexico fans too.
Absolutely. Next one from Massive Chubb. Fellas, as media personalities, who is the Baker Mayfield to your Colin Cowherd? That is an athlete whose every move lives absolutely rent-free in your head to the point that it borders on a high school crush, where you're writing their name in your notebook with hearts above the I, hoping that they'll ask you to prom during study hall. This is a very pointed question.
It is very pointed. So someone that gets in your head. Oh man, I don't know. I guess.
I mean, we definitely don't have this.
Oh, it certainly wouldn't be on the Broncos.
No,
Yeah.
but I just mean like that whole thing is like he's just taking a shot at how Colin Cowherd never stops talking about Baker Mayfield. That would be like us
right.
if we
right.
never stopped talking about Patrick Mahomes or something. But
Right. I guess the closest thing is now I can officially admit it. Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah, Aaron
you know?
Rodgers.
Yeah, just taking
Does
shots.
spend
Yep.
a lot of time in your
Yeah.
head. I don't know if I
And
have
he
one.
always lives up to it.
I will say I was with some people recently and they were like, yeah, you know, like you just gotta respect Patrick Mahomes. Like you just can't hate him. You just really gotta respect him. I was like, I cannot relate.
You don't respect him.
Absolutely hate him.
Well, it could be a fun year for you.
Yeah.
For us, that's for sure. Ozzy Dan says, good day, guys. Look at this. A second from Down Under question. Question about the salary cap. When a team puts incentives into a contract, how does that affect the cap? For example, when the Broncos had $4 million in incentives for Peyton Manning based on if they won the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl, how does that impact their cap considering it can only come into place when the season is done? Does that money come off next year's cap, or do they have to keep the money or monetary figure free in case the incentives are reached? Thanks, guys. Have a great week. I think this is something that you can kick down the road.
Okay.
That affects next year's cap.
That might put you in a bad position though, right?
It could, yeah. Yeah, but what you also can do is teams typically carry over some money. So if it's $4 million in incentives, you probably have that already. So then it just carries over to next year and it's a wash.
The weird thing is, like, I don't know if you follow this at all with the NHL, but they have, like, once a player goes on long-term IR, their cap hit no longer applies to the team.
Yeah.
So they need to fix this because teams are literally just manipulating the cap. And then obviously once the playoffs hit, all of that is off. So you can, like, go way over the cap as long as you have guys on IR during the regular season. And then once the playoffs hit, then it's just a free-for-all.
Man, that'd be something if somehow you lock up the number. Man, it'd be tough to do. Lock up the number 1 seed with 3 weeks left, and because you're 14-0 or something, and then you just put your quarterback, who has a $60 million cap hit, on IR to free up like $15 million.
And then you bring in, like, the OBJs or whoever's out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That'd be wild. Pig Tosser 66 says, funny you guys talked about Russ signing being one of those where were you when it happened moment. So my wife and I played hooky and went up to Big Bear for the day to snowboard. I get on the lift after a run and pull out my phone and see this notification and I start losing it. I'm 50 feet in the air yelling, let's freaking go, and howling, and you can just hear it echoing up the whole mountain. My wife is looking at me like I'm crazy and keeps trying to ask me what is going on, and I finally stop after about 30 seconds of acting like a lunatic and tell her. Then I start yelling again.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is way cool.
Again, it's one of those things you'll never forget where you were. I was only able to say curse words for like a solid 30 seconds.
Yep.
And it was much to the dismay of everyone around me who really wanted to know why I was freaking out.
Pretty similar, except yours was like 10 times less as long than Pig Tossers.
And more people.
Pig times shorter. Yeah.
There was more people that were like, what?
Oh, yeah,
what?
because you were in you were in a room with all new coworkers.
Yep.
So they probably thought, is this guy always like this?
True.
What did we get ourselves into?
And the answer is yes. Bronc Oiler says, happy Monday, guys. There's so much excitement about Court and Jerry maximizing their potential now that we finally have a QB. But I have to wonder if Tim Patrick could come out of this as the number one guy when all is said and done. I understand Court and Jerry have both dealt with injuries over the past couple of years, but Tim has been extremely consistent and made the most of every opportunity he's had. He might not have the pedigree of the other guys, but I wouldn't be shocked to have him end the season with us as wide receiver one. I talked about this a little bit earlier. I don't think he's going to have the most numbers, but I do think 3rd and 7 at the 50, he's the target more often than not.
And that's going to be huge for Russ to have that guy. And it does seem like he's evolving into that guy right away before taking the field. And something else that could help with this is, yes, George Paton gave Tim Patrick that contract extension. Yes, it was less than Cortland Sutton's. But this is a whole new regime in terms of who's going to be calling plays, who's going to be throwing the ball. Nathaniel Hackett has no allegiance to these guys. He's coming in fresh, and same with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, and if you think of it like in Madden terms, sometimes it's just about the matchup, right? So if Court is drawing CB1 and, Jerry's getting the slot corner,
right?
Then it's like, okay, well, maybe those two guys have higher overall ratings than Tim. But if Tim's an 81 overall and whoever's covering him is a 70 overall, then there's a bigger gap there and it's a better matchup and he can win it. Like it's so, like, the NFL, especially on the outside, is so matchup based. It's like it's not necessarily who's the best, it's who has the best matchup.
And speaking of Madden, the game that probably no one is talking enough about right now, Ryan, takes place today.
Yep.
Takes place today. You and me, what are you setting? What's DraftKings? What's the line at DraftKings?
You tell me the line.
Don't be afraid to be offensive.
I think the line is -17.
Okay, I'm taking it. I'm giving you. I'm taking you.
You're I'm
betting
giving
all
the
the money, and so the NFL may now suspend me for a year for betting on games that I'm directly involved in. I would have put it at 21.5.
Okay, all right.
And I still wouldn't have felt good about it.
Well,
maybe 28.5.
I hope it goes my way. We had a DNVR matchup yesterday. Spence took down Henry.
Yes, that was great.
That was great. He kind of smacked him.
Spence also smacked me on Friday night.
Oh wow, you're on a little bit of a cold streak here.
Yep. Oh, I definitely am. This is a bad year.
I think I saw your 2-7.
Yep, I'm blowing it all up after this year, too. Making it very well known, too. Yep.
Blowing it all up. All right, next one's from Samuel Bisou, who says, "Hey, guys, yesterday the great Steve Atwater and Bradley Chubb were here in Mexico City on a few Broncos events. I attended one of them with my sons. We met both of them, and they took the time to take pictures and talk to everyone there. I didn't expect them to be so kind and gracious with their time. It's really great to have Broncos ambassadors as great as them. I know Steve is not going anywhere, but I hope Bradley stays with the team for a long time. What needs to happen to ensure that he gets a long-term contract? And what do you think that contract would look like for me? I just think and hope he can stay healthy and he will be great."
Man, well, really quick, Samuel Bisou, that's the coolest thing that came out of this Broncos trip was lifelong fans and their families getting to meet these guys. So I'm so happy that you were able to. If Bradley Chubb has a huge season this year, he's getting a long-term deal.
Double-digit sacks or more?
I would say more. But the Broncos did just give big money, $14 million, to a guy that had 6 sacks.
Never had a double-digit sack season.
Exactly. So double-digit sacks would get him a big contract. And when I say big, I'm talking Randy Gregory money, 14, 15 million a year. Now, if he gets 15 sacks, we're talking 22, 24 mil a year.
Are you better off having 2 players of that caliber who are, what is it? How many millions is Randy Gregory making?
14.
Okay, so would you rather have 2 $14 million caliber pass rushers or one, $25 million caliber pass rusher and like a Malik Reed?
I would rather have that. I'd rather have just the unstoppable guy. But he has to play unstoppable. The Broncos had that in Von Miller the past few years, and whether it was his fault, whether it was Vic Fangio's fault, he wasn't playing at that level.
Absolutely. Last one here from some people call me the Space Cowboy. With the Broncos picks now coming later in the draft, does this change their drafting style? Does Paton pick differently knowing he doesn't have a first or second in this year's draft? 64th is basically a third, or next year?
What does that mean, draft differently?
I don't know. What I will say is that once you leave, in my opinion, once you leave the top 15, you really can't draft for need anymore.
Yeah.
I think that when you're in the top 10, top 15, you can say who's the best player at the position that we need most and probably get away with it.
Yep.
Beyond that, if you do that, you're putting yourself in a hole that you don't want to be in. So I think that it makes best player available, which is a term that I think gets used way too much. But I do think it makes that more likely.
Yeah, I completely agree. And something else, George Paton is going to want to trade up in this draft. Now
he said it.
Yeah, he said it yesterday. He's going to want to trade up. And then he was asked specifically about the first round and said, yeah, I want to do that, but I'm not sure if it's going to be able to happen. And I think that's exactly what happens. I think the Broncos end up trading back into the first half of the second round, or the even like the top 5 of the second round, and it costs them one of their third round picks and their second round pick.
And so then they're not gonna have a pick until I guess they have 3/3, right?
2/3. So then they'd have another third.
Okay.
Yep.
So you end up getting essentially just a second and a third.
Yep.
Instead of 1 second and 2/3.
1 late second and 2/3.
Right.
Yep, exactly. And then George Paton is going to come out and tell us that they got a guy that was first round grade. First round grade, exactly.
I like it.
And then you get Russ, who is obviously their first round pick this year. And then you also, at least in their minds, still get a first round pick.
How crazy is it that we're gonna do this whole draft show?
Yeah.
But it's all gonna be leading up to day 2.
Yep. And potentially the very last pick of day 2 if they don't trade.
And they probably will.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really interesting, and I think there's a chance they could trade into the first round.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there might be like a player that they're willing to part with that we don't know about right now that they could use as ammo, package 64 and player so-and-so to get, pick 30.
Got one of mine.
Who?
It's interesting. The position of depth.
Okay. Yes.
A guy that we haven't talked about today.
I think maybe we're thinking of 2 different people.
Maybe this is a good one. Maybe this is a good topic of conversation later in the week.
All right, we'll save it for the rest of the
Who do the
week.
Broncos trade to trade up?
That would be interesting. It's not I shouldn't say it's not common to see players get traded for draft picks during the draft.
Right.
But that doesn't mean it's impossible, and especially since the Broncos know the position they're in, they can kind of start feeling things out right now.
Yep.
There's no reason they couldn't. I guess you would probably want to wait to see if someone that you really like is there.
Right.
But they can start kind of putting out feelers. Hey, are you guys interested in this guy? Okay, cool.
Right.
We'll talk in the next couple weeks.
Yep, exactly.
All right. That, I believe, wraps it up for us today.
It does it.
Thanks to everyone who participated in the comments. Hit us with a thumbs up on YouTube on your way out. Of course, subscribe, all that good stuff. Help us get to 700 iTunes reviews. Hit us with a 5-star. We always appreciate those. And we will be back, the two of us, on the show tomorrow. We'll talk to you guys later.